Guys, I think Titans are going to win out in Edge of Fate for me. I have so many updated builds I want to show you. I mean, just look at this comparison. It's the same from the last video. That's a Warlock throwing 2 fusion grenades on Starfire Protocol and setting off an ignition. We all agree that's pretty dang strong, right? Then my Titan just walks up and throws a single fusion grenade and does basically the same damage. But here's what's really crazy about this. I can quite literally throw one of these beefed up fusion grenades every second, if I set up the build properly and know how to play it. The reason this works so well now is literally thanks to the new grenade stat. We do way more damage with our grenade the higher our stat is, right? So we're actually able to kill things in harder content. I was running around with 160 stat and all the gameplay you're seeing in the grenade stat. But we also get a lot more grenade energy coming back from all sources, which is just as important. These sources include 3 things that make this build work so well. It's a Sunspot, 1 Orb of Power, and 1 Firesprite. When you get the flow of this build and these 3 ability regen buffs going, you'll be the fastest grenader out there, chucking them left and right. And you're doing the same damage as a Starfire Warlock, but throwing the grenades in a matter of seconds, and you're running around with that infinite restoration. Today's sponsor is Displate. I'm sure you guys have all heard of them. They're the company with metal plates that can make any room look glorious. You guys know how much I love builds in Destiny 2. Well, check out these awesome Destiny 2 displates that I have in my PC room. They look amazing, right? Displate is a metal poster essentially. It's sturdy, light, and very durable. They come with a magnet to mount them on the wall, which means no holes or drilling required, which keeps your house looking very clean. These magnets work great as well, and will keep them on the wall with no problems. There are so many different designs. Displate boasts over 2 million different designs, so there is something for everyone. From different movie brands, to anime collections, and so many different video games. I'm sure you will find just what you're looking for. Also, Textra is the latest product addition from Displate. That's tactile textures, 3D contours, and selective matte and gloss effects. So you can personalize your Displate just the way you want it. So make sure you click the discount link in the description, or use my code PLUNDER for a 25% discount for 1 Displate that you order, a 32% discount for 2 to 3 Displates that you order, and a huge 37% discount for 4 or more Displates that you might order. These Displates can liven up any room in your house, and I urge you guys to take a look at them. And thank you so much to Displate for sponsoring today's video. Now, obviously, the first thing you want to do is push that grenade stat up. I had 150 to 160 in all the gameplay you're watching, and that was allowing my grenade to hit about 35% harder, and that could go up to 65% if I really push this once I get better gear. But it also gives us increased ability regen from our Sunspot, and chunk ability regen to our grenade from Fire Sprites, and from Orbs of Power. And that's what this build kind of revolves around. So for the 2 aspects, you take Soul Invictus and Roaring Flames. Soul Invictus allows you to throw that grenade. When it kills something, it's going to leave a sunspot. When you walk through that sunspot, it grants you restoration, which is great for survivability. It also increases your ability regen, so this is a 100% increase for our grenade. So essentially, if your grenade cooldown is about 35 seconds with a fusion grenade, right, with 100 grenade stat, this just gets you to about 18 seconds on that cooldown, if you were to add nothing else to the build. And that Sunspot also scorches enemies and can set off ignitions once you get into harder content. And then we also have Roaring Flames, of course. Final blows with solar abilities or ignitions increase the damage of your solar abilities, and this stacks 3 times. We always have this going, and it just allows that fusion grenade to hit really hard. For the 4 fragments, we take Ember of Searing. Defeating scorched targets grants melee energy and creates a Fire Sprite. The most important thing here is that Fire Sprite. We'll take Ember of Empyrean. Solar weapon or ability final blows extend the duration of restoration and radiant effects applied to you, so we have restoration up all the time. We take Ember of Solace to make those last longer, but since you're creating so many sunspots, you really don't need this one if you want to trade this out for something else. Maybe something like Ember of Torches to add in radiant to the build. And then again, the last slot could be up to you as well. I did like Ember of Ashes and harder content. You apply more scorch stacks to targets. Let's say your fusion grenade kills something and leaves a sunspot. Well, the fusion grenade added more scorch stacks to those enemies when it exploded, and then the sunspot added more scorch stacks to those enemies when it was created, and you normally set off an ignition there. Plus, I was using Dragon's Breath and harder content for some good damage. And Ember of Ashes helps that weapon perform better for setting off ignitions left and right. For easier content, I was actually running Devil's Ruin. You guys mentioned this in my last video, and it just guarantees us a Fire Sprite on any kill. And then if you overcharge it, it's an instant ignition, which is really cool. It's actually a lot better than I thought it was, and it got a good rework this season. The exotic we're using is, of course, Ashen Wake. This has the perk Bring the Heat. Fusion grenades gain increased throw speed, explode on impact, and stun unstoppable champions. Final blows with the fusion grenade grant grenade energy. Since we have that grenade stat helping us out, now one final blow on a red bar enemy used to be around 25%. You're getting a lot closer to 50% with that final blow from that grenade. Then when you add the Sunspot regen you pass through, the Orb of Power, and the Fire Sprite, that's how you get your grenade back instantly. So how you want to play this build is just walk up and throw that fusion grenade. As soon as you kill the enemy, walk through the Sunspot. There'll be an Orb of Power there and a Fire Sprite. As soon as you walk through that, you'll see your grenade come back instantly. If you happen to not create a Fire Sprite and your Fire Sprite is on cooldown for 4 seconds, well, you'll get about 90% of your grenade back without that, as long as you scored 1 kill with that fusion grenade. Since our fusion grenades hit so hard, it's really easy to rack up all those kills in a row, even in difficult content now, which is awesome. Now let's go over the mods on the build because they do really help things out. On your gauntlets, take 3 firepower mods. You want to run triple firepower. If you are spamming one ability like this grenade, you want to gen an Orb of Power every time you throw it. If you only run 2 firepowers, you're set back on a 5-second cooldown. When you run 3 of them, it just allows you to create an orb on every ability use. And we are quite literally throwing one every second, so it just creates that Orb of Power on every throw. And that is important for your ability regeneration. On the helmet, double ashes to assets. Again, it just feeds that super very quickly, and then I had a harmonic siphon on for orbs of power gen from my weapons. Your chest piece is just your damage reduction, so match whatever activity you're doing. And then on the boots, I like to take the innervation, the orbs of restoration, and the absolution. This just means that Orb of Power that I'm creating on every grenade throw is giving me like 40% of my grenade back instantly. On the class item, I'll just take a Reaper and a Bomber, and then a special finisher, so when I did have those armor charges up from those Orbs of Power, I could just finish something and get special ammo in my Rocket Strand sidearm that I like running in my primary slot. Now for artifact mods, I'll suggest 2 of them. First one is Shield Crush, obviously. While you are radiant, your grenade recharges faster and deals increased damage. And either teammates are making you radiant, or you can get radiant from Fever and Chill. Rapid precision hits with solar weapons grant radiant. And then the last one I like is Refresh Threads. Picking up an elemental pickup, which is our Fire Sprite, grants energy to your least charged ability. And we get a nice little chunk there as well. I hope you guys give this build a try. It's very straightforward, but it's also some of the most fun you will have in Destiny 2, I promise you that. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Have a great rest of your day.
Oh man.